Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we are ready to guide you through the wild and wonderful world of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a baby kinkster, a seasoned pro, or just here for the entertainment, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us as we share our own wild, sometimes awkward, but always entertaining experiences and spill the tea from our combined 30 plus years in the private and professional kink worlds.
So grab your favorite flogger or wand.
Thank you.
And buckle up. You'll learn, you'll laugh, and who knows, you might just spit out your coffee.
Let's get this kinky party started.
Want more Pink Kink in your life? Join our Patreon and get ready for a whole lot of kinky fun and exclusive perks.
As a patron, you'll unlock access to our private Discord server where you can connect with fellow kinksters and chat directly with us. You'll also score adorable Pink Kink stickers and enjoy a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast packed with juicy tidbits we don't share anywhere else. Plus, get sweet discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and on our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
But wait, there's more.
More?
Our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get extras, such as bonus content and free digital downloads. Oh, and let's not forget, the Pink standard of patrons will be recognized as producers on both the podcast and on our website, because we couldn't do this without you.
Pink Kink runs on the love and support of our amazing patrons, so join the party today. Visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click on the link on pinkkinkpodcast.com.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Brianna Lynn, Daddy J, Fabe, William P, Claire, Lady Blooding, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Kat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Christopher, Brian, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, AK Harley Chick, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Lady Affliction, Pumpkin Pie, Ms. Tourmaline, S'more, Hacksaw,
Wee Mad Beastie, Devoted Night, 3 a.m. Thoughts, Crash Override, Kinky Bear, Sviper No Swiping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Frost, Coffee and Chaos, Mr. Pillsbury, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Baby Squirrel, Lady and Lex, Chaos Monster, Jessa Lady, Ophelia, Drew, Birchbeard, Lady to Kitten, Cydia Lemon, Noir, Freddie Queen, Princess Ree, Miss Isiv, Godex Bunny, Elysium Rose, Avalia, Gloria, Nora Morapora, and Bricks.
All right, we're starting this with, I don't know, like a mea culpa that I keep going in circles. First, I say kink is not a contest. Then I confess that, well, maybe it can be a contest because my birthday scene's turning into a contest. And now I'm back to saying it's not a contest and stop treating it like one. So if you're getting dizzy from me going in circles, I apologize profusely.
I'm dizzy.
I can't help myself. Like I
think we established, though, that kink itself is not a competition. Okay, fine. However, you can have scenes that are competitive.
There we go. Okay, I can work with that.
Right? Because we had the race with the different kinds of, I don't know, how many different kinds of ways were we using stuff to, like, for people to get off that day and have an orgasm race?
Okay, well, it was a long time ago and I'm old, so I'm going to remember to the best of my ability. You were doing electro. That's easy to remember. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but I think the particular thing that I was using was the acupuncture wand.
Well, that might be the case. I don't remember exactly what you were using.
Another one, so John was using the Hitachi.
Well,
I remember that.
Because that's the end of a scene. I'm thinking it was the Sibian. Was the third person.
Yes. Okay, absolutely. So that was competitive as all fuck, and funny story, we all won.
3 simultaneous orgasms, which is hard enough in the regular world, but in a party atmosphere with technically 6 different people.
Yes, 6 different people technically were participating. However, I am 100% convinced that they all, like, got each other off because of the noise that they were all making, and it was making them, like, even more turned on.
Well, and John was probably holding Blue off until everybody else was close because,
Yeah, probably.
she's not allowed to orgasm till he tells her so.
Ugh, and using a Hitachi, I would never make it. Anyway, and then your competition is a race between two needle tops. So yeah, I'm pretty sure like it's just a competitive scene. It's not inherently a competition.
Okay, so
Like-
I'm not going in circles.
No, well, you are, but you can do stuff like because I'm not going to let this go. You can always say like, okay, it's not a competition because you can't say stuff like my bruises. I get more bruises than you. That's the point, is to get more bruises than you. Like that's not going to work.
No, that would not be fair.
See, I learned shit.
Oh, good for you. Some of us bruise like peaches and some of us don't. Though I do have 2 black and blue marks on my arm from needles. So that was nice because I don't bruise much anymore though. Honestly, I could not tell you the last time I bottomed for impact, which is sad. I am sad.
Pshaw. I get bruises from needles every time I get blood work. Does that mean I win?
I don't know. It's a totally different kind.
Ooh, I also probably faint more than you.
Yeah, I could count on 0 hands how many times I've ever fainted.
Right, and I've got at least a hand.
I've never fainted. I've wanted to.
I think grand total 3 times.
Yeah, I've wanted to faint, but I'm a stubborn as fuck bitch, and I refuse to let my body do that.
Oh, well, I got to tell you, sometimes the way that feels, you can't stop it. Like I managed to stop it the last 2 times, but that was the first few, like 3. There was no bueno.
Well, that's like
anyway. So I do that better than you.
Well, there you go. And I will let you have that. That is all yours. I am not going to try to fight you on that. You are
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are the est.
I am the faintiest.
We haven't used the est in a while. You are the est.
No, we have not. Hey, do we get to count that, by the way, as part of our dictionary, the est?
Well, we might be able to. I mean, that's a family thing on my side that I brought into the podcast. So,
well, then probably not. I don't think that counts then.
It wasn't something I came up with just in the middle of a podcast episode like, you did with Ticcolini. It's just something I've been doing it. My family's been doing it for years with the est.
Okay, well, then we totally can't use it. It has to be original, come up with on the podcast.
Well, this episode today is kind of inspired by different conversations I've seen happening, some of it on social media, some of it directly on FetLife, and some in person. And that's where people start comparing what they're doing in kink, the kind of scenes they have, and they're throwing around the word extreme a lot. Some like it's some sort of...
here we go. Hang on. I got to do the noise.
Are you ready?
I hope that picked it up.
I heard it, so I'm assuming they hear it too.
Oh, I hope so. But it's the I gotta rub my hands together, get ready. Okay, I got this. Wait, let me flex. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a ranting episode, I think. But we'll see.
Oh, show.
But some people are throwing around the word extreme, like it's some sort of kink merit badge. I don't know if you remember, there was a trend at one point on TikTok about kinks, where you list your kinks, but they're only getting more extreme. And they're talking about and they would list all the different kinks that they're into. And supposedly, in their head, each one got a little more extreme than the next one. And so I want to really kind of, you're laughing at that?
Well, because it's kind of stupid. Because your extreme is wildly different than my extreme. You think humiliation play is extreme. I think needles are extreme. Neither one of us agrees that is extreme because it's our jam. It's what we do all the time.
Well, I think humiliation is extreme, which is why I won't do it. For me,
right? Exactly.
For me, it would be extreme. It would cause great harm to me, so I won't do it.
And I'm like, yay, birthday. Like, It's okay. Well, I'll let you do the entire episode
Well, and this is the
on
point.
what I just said.
Well, and that's the point. This is why I wanted to do that, because I really think it's time that we unpack what extreme really means and whether or not it has any business being used when it comes to kink. You know,
Okay, wait. So I do have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I do have
that's
one
okay.
question. Do you have examples in this episode of some of the things that they were calling extreme?
Well, I'll talk about a bunch of different things. I mean, it's
Cool.
That's my running thing is I'm the first one to admit that I don't know if desensitized is the right word, but because of the things that I do and what I consider extreme, and there are people who do things even more extreme than my shit. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I admire it. So I know damn well that my shit doesn't necessarily look extreme depending upon where you're standing. For some people, yeah, it looks like it is extreme. And for other people, they're like, yeah, that's so cute. I remember when I started out like that.
The fucking hook suspension.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry. I'm just going to say that's extreme under any circumstance. Even the people that do it say it's extreme.
True. But even within that, there's levels.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that. There's levels, right? And here's the point, folks. I don't want anybody listening to this thinking that we are ranking kinks or dismissing the kinks that you're into as somehow not valid because they're not extreme. That's not our point here. The point really is going to be about leveling the playing field and getting people to stop trying to look at kink as a hierarchy, as somehow you're more of a kinkster if you do this than if you do that. Somehow this kink is cooler than that kink or more important than that kink or more extreme than that kink. That's what we're trying to get away from. So I am definitely of the belief you do you and you get to do whatever you want. I would never tell Dara that somehow she's less of a kinkster because she's not into the pain play that I'm into. That's stupid and ridiculous.
Yeah. And just because I tell Rara that she's crazy because of what she does, doesn't mean that she's better at kinking than I am.
No, I'm just crazier.
Just means she's crazy.
And I don't disagree with that. So let's get into what does extreme even mean, right? You'll hear it commonly used with tends to be physically risky scenes. More often than you hear about it being used on emotionally or mentally risky scenes, right? People will talk about needles is extreme, fire is extreme, breath play, CNC, knife play, hook suspension. All of that is very physically risky. And what's interesting is notice I didn't say electro because
I'm offended.
Hold on. Hold on to your offense for just a minute. This is part of the problem and part of why calling kinks extreme is misleading. Does it look simple and easy electro? Sure. What's Dara doing? All she's doing is running a wand up and down somebody's body. Big fucking deal. Except it really is. And so looking at it like it's somehow not a big deal and not physically risky, right? Like, oh, wait a minute. So over there, they're taking a paddle and actually hitting somebody with this wooden paddle. But over here, they're just taking a cute little electric wand and running it up and down their body. No. Come on.
It's a light bulb.
It's a light bulb.
It's just a light bulb.
Come on, like they're not the same. They're both physically risky, folks. Dara, do you want to remind everybody once again, just in case they're new to us, just how physically risky the electricity is?
Well, here's the thing. It's not just physically risky for the person who's receiving it. It's physically risky for me. The top gets electrical burns pretty much every if you're a good top, you get electrical burns every single time. I've walked out of, let's see, the last really big one I did was at Exotica. I mean, like really big. And that was several hours of testing and adjusting all of this electrical stuff on my arm before I touched somebody, I had to switch arms. At some point, I'm pretty sure I tested it on my legs because I ran out of arm space. My entire upper arm, lower arm, underside of it, and I had gouges from barely healed gouges from a what was it? The chicken wire thing, the chicken wire fiasco. So I couldn't touch the underside of my arm with the electricity because open wound. There was a girl who could not participate because she was in the 2-week, I don't know if I'm pregnant, but we're trying stage. And she couldn't participate because just in case she was pregnant, that would be absolutely disastrous. If you have any kind of heart condition, we're just like, oh, the fuck no. But for the most part, you're going to get burns.
And it's
That's
really
the number
funny.
one risk.
As a needle top, the only time that I'm in potentially danger is if I'm not careful putting the needles, playing with the needles, and I accidentally poke myself. And I think I've done that twice in all the time I've been
in
doing
your early
needles.
time.
No, just wasn't being as conscious of what I was doing. One of the problems is, and I don't know if this happens to you too, the more you do it and the more comfortable you do it, sometimes you get a little lazy because you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And you're not as like paying as close attention as you should. And
I've
you
done
make
some stupid shit. Like I've had somebody live on my table before and forgotten that I was wearing very long earrings and leaned down and shocked the ever living shit out of my own ears.
Ouch.
Right. So after a couple of times, not even one time, after several times doing that, I don't wear earrings or rings or anything anymore when I'm demoing.
Very smart.
I take it all off if I even wear it there in the first place.
Some of the other words you'll hear are things like hardcore, intense, serious. Right? And why do people look at these kinks and use these terms? Well, first of all, the physical aftermath is pretty damn visible. I hit you, you bruise. At the bare minimum, your little butt turns pink. Because I always tell people, I'm like, oh, goody, you're now turning my favorite color. I'm getting happy. Their butts turn pink. They get the bruising. Maybe you caused blood to appear. The same thing with needles. And those kind of things are much easier to sensationalize, especially on social media. I can post a picture of huge bruising. I can post a picture of all these needles in my body. You can't really post a picture of electro and do it justice for people to understand.
Not really. I mean, I've done pictures of the burns, but anytime I do that, the picture washes out how bad they actually are.
And they don't show you how it feels either.
No.
Right? Like
no,
if you've ever been burned before, even if it doesn't look that bad, you feel it.
Yeah. No, this shit itches. Like really bad. You know, the when it's healing part, oh my fucking God, does it itch?
Oh my God. When you do blood play and then it all scabs, that is the worst.
I bet. Oh my God. When you show the pictures like a couple days later, I'm just like, how is she standing that? Because to me, you once described electro as feeling like a ton of ants are crawling all over your body. How do you fucking stand the week after when your scabs have formed and you're like,
that's when you'll hear me complaining. And I'm like, oh, and you have to be careful because one, you don't really want to scratch it because you don't want to knock the scabs off. And then two, the scabs are on your ass. So even if you can't walk around just scratching your ass all damn day. It doesn't look good.
Or your tits.
No. Ooh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I got an itchy tit there.
itchy titty.
Itchy titty. Listen, I once had to go out and buy a whole bunch of shirts.
Oh, it's a titchy.
It's a titchy. I had to go and buy a whole bunch of shirts because most of my shirts are V-necks, and I had bruises where the V-necks were, so I had to hurry up and go buy crew neck shirts to hide.
Mm-hmm.
The other problem is it looks scary to people. I sit and I swing something and it hits you. It looks scary if it makes the right thwack. It sounds scary. That's one of my favorite things. So I have a particular paddle. It's my fire hose paddle. One of the reasons I love it is it sounds scary. When I
Yeah.
hit you, it makes a really loud sound. But the person feeling it, the feeling doesn't match the sound. So I can make it look really good to other people, and you're not going to be in a lot of pain.
I actually have an equivalent of that in electro. It's the the zapper, the
Yep.
little red prod looking thing. That is so much more bark than it is bite.
Have you been zapped?
With that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I mean, it's got less bite in the sense that it'll go away, but that immediate zap, when you feel it, it's like, oh, I
No, like to me, it's more the sound that freaks people out because they're expecting something really horrible, and then they're like, "Oh, that didn't actually hurt that much."
oh, then you need more powerful ones.
Okay, yeah, yes, I do.
But there are other extremes that are just quiet that we are ignoring. Things like electro, things like humiliation, right? Telling somebody you're nothing, you're worthless is going to cut very deep, sometimes too deep. But
Yeah,
people don't associate that with it, right? Age play. Age play is pretty extreme considering you're doing it and people have definite opinions about you doing it, and you have to kind of keep it on the down low because of those opinions. You're really,
yeah.
yeah, you're really
You
challenging
really
taboo with that.
This is. Oh yeah. That is an extremely taboo kink that people think is extreme, and I used to be one of them, and then I learned about it, and now I don't think that anymore, and I think people can just fuck off and mind their own business. But
People never
there
do.
is a no, they don't. There is a reason that we have a very particular dress code for our munch, and I don't know, code of behavior.
Yeah, it sounds
I guess
good.
you could call it too.
That's about right.
Sure, and it sounds very like high school when you say code of behavior and dress code.
But we
But
don't make them
we're
sign
not.
anything.
No, it's not like you have to do that or anything, but like it's an expectation when you're out in a public space, if you're a little, that you need to somewhat adult. If you're in my house and we're having a private party, go fucking little out. I mean, go absolutely good, like binkies, passies, whatever you call them. Daddy's dick is I don't give a shit. But you need to, in public, be more careful, or else the entire group gets that side eye, and then we might not be invited back to the actual public area to do our munches. And we have very few places that we can munch anyway.
That would be sad.
I've got a actual one that I'm thinking of, by the way, just so you know.
Okay. We also have things like even power exchange. Think about it, like master slave. That's pretty extreme.
That's controversial as fuck.
And people giving up, right? Like, oh, I'm not allowed to spend any money unless my dom lets me. Or I need permission to go to the bathroom.
So as much as I would rebel against that, the whole financial dominance thing, I'm starting to think that maybe I should.
Now, I should, in the sense that somebody needs to stop me from buying things. I just got 3 packages from Amazon today. But I'm also of the belief I work my ass off, and I want to be able to at least use some of it. I can't spend it when I'm dead. So I'd like to at least have some of it to do fun stuff with. And it wasn't.
Yeah, well, I need a dopamine fix.
Well, I'm also going back to Arizona again, and I'll be hanging out at the pool. So I needed a sun hat because, silly me, I don't want skin cancer, and as a redhead, that's worrisome.
I was going to say, did you stock up on sunscreen?
I have sunscreen. I don't use it here as much, so it lasts me longer.
Right.
Kink is not just physical, and that is what we really need to remember. And just because you don't see the bruising, you don't see the blood, doesn't mean that whatever that person is doing isn't just as quote unquote extreme as anything else. Now let's go on to something Dara mentioned, which is perception, right? That your experience shapes perception. So, for example, somebody who is a first-time rope bottom versus an experienced bottom. There are rope suspension scenes that I've done that people think, oh, that's not that big of a deal, right? She just is wearing one hip harness and hanging upside down from that one hip harness. That's actually a lot more risky of a rope suspension scene than one where there's a lot of rope holding me up. Because, yeah, I'm being held up by one piece of rope in the hip harness versus 10 or 12 pieces of rope. But if you're a first-time
and the
rope
second
bottom,
you say upside down, that adds a whole different level.
And if you're not that experienced, maybe you're looking at it thinking, oh, that's not that big of a deal when it really is. Maybe you've got, pain issues. I can handle a lot of pain. May or may not be because I'm a redhead. There are science studies that say redheads can handle more pain.
Oh, I was just saying no pain.
Yeah. So, right. So there's actually scientific studies that show redheads have higher pain tolerance. There's also studies that show women have higher pain tolerance than men.
100% believe that one. 100%.
They've proven it.
Do you know that have you seen the period simulators?
Oh,
the videos
I love
of those?
Those make me laugh.
Do you know what those are?
What?
Fucking TENS units.
Oh my God. I love TENS units. I remember I'd get them done on my knee and I'd keep going, you can turn it higher. You can turn it higher.
Yeah.
You can turn it higher.
Yeah, that's what I would say to the PT. And they'd be like, are you sure? And I'm like, you said to go until it hurts. Where's the hurt part? This feels great.
What about folks who might be on the spectrum or neurodivergent? And that impacts
the ones
things.
where they fall asleep getting tattoos done?
Yeah. Listen, they're sensitive. Yeah. Their sensory sensitivity. I mean, I talk about the fact that my eldest is on the spectrum. I had to cut the tags out of his shirts. Every shirt, because having that little tag back there bothered him. Where my other kids who are not on the spectrum, no big deal. That wasn't an issue. But meanwhile,
I've had to do that every once in a while too.
Haven't you ever seen people who can wear shorts all year round because cold just doesn't faze them?
How? I'm in fucking sweatpants. And some of these people are like just shorts and flip-flops. And I'm like, how are your fucking toes not frozen off?
So something that Dara would look at something I do and think, wow, that's really extreme. And I'm like, that was no big deal. It didn't even bother me. It didn't even hurt me. When people ask me with the 302 needles, they're like, did that hurt a lot? I'm like, okay, yeah, it hurt. Not as much as I would have thought it would hurt for having 300 needles. The biggest problem wasn't the needles themselves. It was the weight of the needles and the beads. That was the pain, was not the needles themselves, but the weight. But again, for me, I was like, yeah, whatever. And here's the funny part, but I'm petrified to do hook suspension. I have no problem I'm going to do 400 needles. I'm not even fazed by that. I'm more worried about the fact that how am I going to process this pain when these two people are in a race on my body?
I'm not even sure you're going to be processing it. That shit is going to be going so fast.
Well, especially
you're
learning curve.
Like,
I am predicting right now learning curve's going to win, and I don't think that's going to hurt Nina's feelings. I wouldn't be surprised if Nina feels the same way. Just because learning curve also has more experience, and learning curve, one of the reasons you're talking about this is learning curve was talking about how fast they were able to get needles into somebody. So,
right. Well, I'm going to need some help picking out my next scene because I've done splashing, which is something I had never done before. And I did a public humiliation scene, which is something I've never done before. I need something that I've never done before. You just keep
something
taking your
that you're-
scene and keep doing this and going further and further with it. I want to do something different.
Well, that's because there's not much. The problem isn't just finding something you've never done before. It's finding something you've never done before that you're willing to do.
I'm willing to do quite a bit for the birthday scenes. Let's face it.
So you'll do a needle scene?
I already told you I would, but that's my present to you.
Right. But that's one needle.
Is that going to be my actual birthday scene?
If you want it to be.
Well, no, let's see how it goes, and then maybe next year's I'll do that. But I don't want to like say, yeah, I'll do a scene and then get one in and chicken the fuck out and ruin my entire birthday. I'll faint again, and that'll be a really great birthday.
Yeah, no. For me, it's more like, people who are runners, and they're like, yeah, I did a 10K. Now I'm going to do a half marathon. And then after the half marathon, I'm going to do a full marathon. And then after that, I'm going to do an ultra marathon. That's what I'm doing. I'm just running, and I'm just lengthening the distance I'm running.
You're going to end up doing an Ironman in 5 years.
There we go. Iron Woman.
Okay, yeah, that too.
That's what it's going to be.
Can we get Tony Stark?
Can we? Oh, I bet you we can convince somebody to dress up as Tony Stark. I'm sure
I bet we could convince Daddy J to do it because he already looks like Robert Downey Jr.
I need somebody to be Captain America for me, though.
Okay, we'll find somebody.
All right.
Let's do a Marvel theme.
Oh my God! Yes, yes.
That's next year's. Everybody comes in Marvel costumes.
So, since my first ex-husband dropped dead, can I be Black Widow?
Oh no! But you were already divorced. You aren't a widow.
No, don't you know my running joke? If I'd known, if I had a crystal ball and knew he was going to drop dead, I'd have hung in there a little longer.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's really cold.
That's dark.
That's so dark.
We went dark.
Oops. Well, come on. You have ex-husbands. It's hard not to go dark with ex-husbands.
Yeah, but there's only one I genuinely wish dead.
Okay,
the other one is fine. Like, he can live.
See, that was the same for me. And the one I wanted dead did die. The other one is still alive.
I haven't checked Facebook recently. I wonder if he's died recently. Somebody manifest this shit for me.
Don't mind us, folks. We're fine. We're fine.
I did get accused of being a bruja at work, so maybe. Spanish for witch, just so you know.
The other thing is that quote unquote mild kink isn't always mild for everyone. We talk about the humiliation. For one person, they're just words. For Dara, they're just words that make the scene more fun. For me, they're kind of mind-blowing and devastating. I used to talk to a friend of mine who was very much into kink, who one of the things was very into humiliation kink, I should say. She was, of course, very into kink. I used to ask her about how do you get through what people are saying, and at the end of it, just go, oh, okay, it was just a scene. I'm fine. I'm like, I would be thinking this over and over, the old, well, they said it, so they must have really meant it, or subconsciously, that's why they came up with that, because they really meant it. I could not separate.
And for me, I like, even during the scene when it's happening, I'm like, man, they don't mean that. They're just coming up with shit to say. I don't know that I've ever actually done a humiliation scene where I've truly been humiliated, because I don't, well, except for my birthday, that was humiliating, but in a way that I wasn't planning.
Well, there's no top to that, to the fainting.
There was, yeah. That was embarrassing as fuck. And God, you didn't see it, but I was like pissed that everybody was like, the huge crowd that was around me. And, because, you're not supposed to do that. And
what, the huge crowd or the fainting?
Well, yes. But when somebody hits the floor, you're not supposed to crowd around them. And like, first of all, my husband couldn't get to me. The nurse could barely get to me. And the friggin' doctor who was on scene could not get to me at first. They had to like shove their way through the people, which is dangerous as hell. And then they were trying to get me to lay down on the floor, and I was like pissed. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, okay, but it would help you. And I'm like, no, I'm not fucking doing that. So That's how I react when I'm embarrassed. So, like I immediately go on the defensive and get pissy. So, that I was feeling it at that point. Plus, I still felt like shit.
I bet you did. I was too busy being poked, so I didn't see anything. That's another reason we're doing a contest, is because it took too damn long last time. I don't have that patience in my life anymore.
Yeah.
Right. But there's some things like, let's say, like a daddy little scene might be deeply healing, but it can also be incredibly edgy. So which is it? Things like, right, electro. For me, electro, that's a mild kink for me. That's one of the reasons I have Dara do the impact part of it, because it doesn't cause me enough pain sensation on its own. It's just annoying.
Irritation.
So that's why I like the impact. But somebody else, I mean, you've had people on your table, the sounds coming out of them as you're doing the electro, for them, that's not mild at all of a scene.
Well, I've also never actually like written on you and burned you with the electro, like not deliberately. I've signed my name on people's asses before. So, and the heart that I literally burned into Amity that time, I keep going back and forth and saying that she was the first one I ever did that to. And she's the first one I ever did that to accidentally. I should say, but I used to do that to Simple Beauty all the time. I'd write filthy fucking words all over her. So it was an electro humiliation scene.
But even the people I've seen where you're not doing that.
No, those are just really sensitive people.
Right? But that's what I'm saying is so how can you say that is extreme for them?
Yes.
But it wouldn't be extreme for somebody who's not as physically sensitive.
Right. There's people that come on and they're like, I don't feel much of anything. Like Amity, I was like pissed. I was like, what do you mean you don't feel anything? This is cranked up as hard as it'll go. And she's like, no, I don't feel anything. And at the same time, there's somebody right next to her who's getting the exact same treatment from the exact same wand, who's screaming bloody murder.
You've got things like rope suspension, where just the helplessness you feel when you come up off the ground and you look and you realize, shit, I'm hanging by a bunch of rope. That's extreme for them. While for me, it's very meditative, and I'm hanging, I'm happy as can be. And I don't consider that extreme at all. I'm just chilling. So it's all
just chilling.
I'm just chilling. So it's all about your own feelings and what's extreme in your own head. And you can't compare to somebody else. It's like apples and oranges. My extreme is not Dara's extreme, which is not, Simple Beauty's extreme, which is not somebody else's extreme.
I feel a song coming on.
Oh, no. All right. I'm going to take a sip of water while she sings. I hope I don't spew.
Nothing compares to Kink.
Okay.
I don't have anything past that. That was it. That was all I had.
I apologize on behalf of Pink Kink to all the listeners who just had to hear that. I'm so sorry. That was extreme.
Okay. I'm a little insulted. I used to sing opera, so obviously I was good.
Maybe that was the problem. That wasn't opera.
No. It's not in my vocal range, that's why. Also, I was being really stupid with it, so it was way more fun that way.
You can say that I can't, so.
Do what?
You can say it was stupid. I can't. That you were being stupid.
Well, no, yeah, you can. It was fucking stupid, and it was quite obvious.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Yes, it was. It really, really was.
The warbling at the end. Oh.
Okay, let's continue.
I'm tired.
Let's continue.
I'm tired and pissy. Leave me alone.
Now, obviously, this whole concept of kink hierarchies is problematic just in and of itself. And what do I mean by like kink hierarchy? Well, it's this implied ranking of what is quote unquote real kink versus just playing around. I see it all the time. People, well, if you're not doing 24/7 DS and you're just doing bedroom only, somehow you're not equal of stature to the people who are doing it 24/7. If you're not doing heavy impact, you're not as important and as real of a kinkster as somebody's doing tickling. I mean, you talk to most people who are in the tickling community and they talk about how they're looked down upon because they're into tickling. I just had somebody on, I think it was Threads, ask about tickling and said, "Is that a real kink?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Yes.
it is." I said, "And it can be sensual, but it can also be sadistic." And they were like, "Wow, I didn't realize that."
Oh my God, I fucking hate being tickled. I hate it. I can't get a pedicure because I'm so fucking sensitive with that. That's
And
extreme to me.
yeah, and for me again, it gets a little ticklish, but for the most part, it's just calming. I could
No.
take a nap while they're doing my feet.
No.
But when you hear people make comments like, "Oh, you're just into spanking," or, "Oh, that's so cute. I used to do that when I first started."
Ouch.
And of course, real subs take whatever their dom dishes out. I still see constantly on social media real and true subs or doms, and it is toward behavior. A real, a true dom will do this, a real sub will do this, as if somehow, somewhere there's a handbook that says this is what you need to do to become a licensed submissive or a licensed dominant. And it
I'm
just doesn't
sorry.
work that way.
Licensed?
Well, that's the only way it would work if there was actually a list of things you have to do to be called a quote unquote true dom. Then you should be able to get a license for it.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
And this kind of shit gets reinforced all the time. It gets reinforced in social media. I see it constantly with which posts get the most traction. I just venting into the void in another group that I'm in with a bunch of other kink educators, expressing my frustration that there are people who do this shit of real subs, real doms, or my kinks get higher in extremeness and all that. And people are just eating this shit up. And I'm on there trying to, drop actual truth bombs. But they're not as exciting and dramatic as this other shit. And I just don't get the traction that they do. And it's really so incredibly frustrating. There was, even still like this old guard versus new guard. People thinking that somehow old guard is better and they were doing it right. Except there's really no proof that an actual old guard existed. Is that the way the original kinksters used to do shit? Yeah. But there's no old guard. The person who wrote the damn book about it has since come out and said there was no old guard. You see people clout chasing in these online spaces. Look how edgy I am. And look, I get it. There's a fine line between, hey, I want to show this off. Hey, I'm an exhibitionist. I want everybody to see this. Hey, I have a praise kink. So I want to show you this shit so you can all praise the shit out of me. And, on the other side of the line is, ooh, look at me. I'm better than you because I can do all this. I don't know how to break it to you guys. Just because somebody might have more bruises, just because person A has more bruises than person B, doesn't mean person A's scene was more intense or harder than person B's. I've been involved in huge, intense impact scenes where there's maybe a little teeny tiny bruise the next day. And I've watched scenes that I've been kind of like, oh, that's so cute. I've said that in my own head. I don't say it to them. But I've thought in my own head, that's so cute. And then the next day, they're showing pictures of these gargantuan bruises. I'm like, how? There are people who will take medicine, who will take baby aspirin or even regular aspirin to thin their blood out just to get bigger bruises so they can show them off and look like they are more intense of a kinkster.
Didn't you once get some guy saying something about, look what she can take? She can take a hit a lot better, so you should be like that.
I've
Like
heard
using
that.
you as the
Yeah.
example.
I've heard that people have said, "Oh, I'm going to play with the real masochist," as if the person they played with wasn't a real masochist, because masochism just means you enjoy the pain. Notice there's nothing in that sentence about how much. It's not masochism; you enjoy a large amount of pain. It's you just enjoy pain.
Right.
And all of this is incredibly toxic because first of all, you're making newcomers feel invalid. Anytime anybody apologizes to me and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm new, I can't do whatever," my answer to them is always, "We were all new at one point. Please don't apologize."
Mm-hmm.
It shames people for liking what they like. I have people who apologize to me all the time for not liking heavy impact. And I tell them again, you're allowed to like what you want. No apology necessary. Not everybody likes heavy impact, and that's okay. It would be a very boring world if we all liked exactly the same thing. Or when I'm demoing, trust me, I appreciate if not every single person that I'm demoing that night wants a heavy impact scene, because that shit's tiring. I like having
Yeah.
I like having a break with some people who just want more sensory or light play, because it gives my poor arm a break. And then on top of that, of course, you push folks to engage in unsafe behavior because they want to gain validation. I am not recommending to a single person on here to take aspirin to get thinner blood to get bruises, okay? I'm mentioning it as something people do. You get to do you, boo, but I am by no means recommending it. And I don't like to play with people who do it. It's one thing if you happen to be on a prescription medication for other health reasons that also happens to be a blood thinner, that's different. But if you are taking anything specifically to get more bruises, I personally don't wish to play with you. That's my boundary.
Well, do you actually ask that?
I ask if you're on any medication.
Okay.
And I hope people are honest with me, right? I mean, that's part of the unfortunate things of negotiation. You can ask questions, but you just have to hope and pray that they're honest with you.
Yeah.
I just want to remind you folks that you are not any less kinky because your bruises are emotional bruises versus physical bruises.
That's a good line.
Oh,
I
thank
like
you.
that. Emotional bruises.
You know what? I'm laughing because you said the word emotional, like emotional damage.
damage.
You just didn't say the damage, but you can't even say emotional without going emotional.
Emotional bruises.
Oh my God. I was on the phone with my daughter and she said something and I went, "Well, that was rude. That was pretty fucking rude." And she goes, "Mom, do not do that."
I fucking love doing that to people. Like fucking with Gen Zers like that is so much fun.
My
when
daughter
you
does
say
not
their
think
slang to them,
she's so over it because it's on everything. And
oh, that's
and apparently the old lady, am not allowed to use the Gen Z slang anyway.
Oh, of course not. I told somebody the other day, let him cook. And people fucking lost it. Bunch of youngins.
So
I had to. It was hysterical.
What are some of the real risks of hierarchies? Well, there's the internal consequences, feeling like you're not enough, feeling shame for what turns you on or doesn't turn you on, and doubting who you are as a kinkster because maybe what you like is different. There's, of course, the external consequences. You rush into advanced play without support or proper experience. You're maybe neglecting your negotiation and aftercare in favor of an image that you think is the way to go. And then, of course, unsafe consent because someone's feeling pressured to say yes. I just told this to somebody on Threads. She did a whole Threads about being groomed. And she's like, yeah, it was. She goes, yeah, it was consensual, but yada, yada, yada. And I wrote back a comment on her saying, I'm just going to gently push back on the idea that this was consensual. That's the word I'm looking for. Coerce. There we go. Brain turned back on. Thank you.
Coercion.
Coerced consent is not actually consent.
Correct.
Oh, thank you. Ding, 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 ding.
Well, I mean, I have experience with that. I got coerced consent, or I was made to give coerced consent a lot in my first marriage, which is why I wish him dead.
And for a lot of people too, for those who are listening who maybe identify as male, I'm going to give you a little secret. For those of us who identify as women, we will often say yes to something because we feel the risk of saying no is too great. It's not that we want to say yes. It's not that we want to do that thing. We just feel any consequences from saying yes will be less than the consequences of saying no. We see these videos all the time. People are like, well, why don't you just tell him no? How many videos have you seen that the woman starts recording while she's in a bar and she's telling the guy, no, go away. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to sit next to you. And he's not giving up.
We're genuinely worried we will fucking die or get the shit beat out of us if we say no.
So if it's coerced, it's not actually consent. There's emotional labor in all of this too, or it gets erased because you start to wonder if you have a long-term service that doesn't seem edgy enough to you. If you are in a mental headspace, a good dominant mental headspace, nobody can see it. I've seen this hierarchy of subspace and dom space. If you're not in subspace after the end of a scene, somehow it was not as good of a scene. Or maybe your dom or top wasn't as good as I could be because they couldn't get you into subspace. But warn a girl next time.
Okay. Hey, Rara, I'm about to do the raspberry thing.
Okay, hold on. Go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's reframe this idea of extreme. And let's, instead of using the term extreme, make it about your personal edges, right? Your edge may be silent play. Mine might be ritual. One is not more valid than the other. I don't make sounds when I am bottoming for impact. I make little grunts versus people who make loud sounds. Part of that is I'm stubborn and I won't give you the satisfaction of getting sounds out of me. It used to drive John nuts when I would just almost get meditative on, and I won't say a word or make any sounds. It pisses him off, which just makes me want to do it more. But that's because I'm a bitch. But that's a whole nother story.
Oh, we should reframe that. You're a brat.
I'm a brat. I'm a bitchy brat, a bratty bitch. You pick it.
Sure.
Normalize what we think of as softer kinks as being just as awesome and just as cool, right? Sensation play, tickling is just as awesome and cool as needles. Praise kink, it's one of mine. Oh my God, having somebody tell me good job, not good girl, because I'll hit you if you do that, but just telling me good job gives me just as many endorphins as getting hit with a paddle.
So when I tell you you've done a good job because you pronounced a word correctly on the first try, that does it for you?
It does. It makes me happy.
Okay.
When people send me messages we just got one from somebody who listened to being an introverted kinkster and reading their comments saying, oh my God, this really helped me. I really felt this. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like that gave me happy endorphin button stuff.
Yeah, I kind of know where you're feeling with that. Know what you're feeling because I got something similar. We know somebody who recently broke up with their daddy and she was feeling kind of down about it. And then she remembered my episode on single littles and she was like, wait a minute.
You guys
I don't need no daddy.
You guys say it right. All the single littles,
all the single littles, all the single littles, all the single littles, all the single littles. Put your stuffies up. That was the greatest thing that we have ever created.
Oh, no. I have others I like more, but I did like that one.
I just like saying, oh, the single-littles.
Right? I mean, long-term power exchange. People who've been in DS with their partners for years. Like, that's really cool. And I think there's a lot of us who haven't been able to do that. So I think we should normalize that as being just the same as any quote unquote extreme play. Honor the emotional play, right? Holding space for the erotic hypnosis or the humiliation. All of that is really special. What about the people who specifically want a cathartic scene and now they're crying at the end of it? That release for them is even more powerful than the flogging. The flogging was the tool to get them to release the tears. But even if somebody just has a quiet, slow, consensual scene, they deserve applause too. I have watched some scenes where they have tuned out the rest of the world and it is just between, I don't know whether the dom and sub, top and bottom, but whatever it is, the scene is just between the two of them. And the connection is so fucking strong, I can almost physically see it. And that was beautiful and just as intense and special as anything else that I've ever seen. And I want people to give honor to that and acknowledge that. I want to make space for all types of kink expression and to challenge each other how we speak about intensity, right? Like you'll hear me talk about it, and I hope that I try to explain for me, right? Just always adding for me. This is extreme for me. This is simple for me. I do have a lot of people who will say to me, oh, I wish I could do what you do. And I always say, hold on a minute. You get to do you. I can do the things that I do for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is because, again, I have a very high pain tolerance threshold. That's gives me an advantage that other people have. It's my attitude of not being somebody with regret. So I'm willing to try something. If it works, yay me. And if it doesn't work, well, lesson learned. And I don't have regrets. So it doesn't hurt me mentally. That gives me an advantage to try stuff where maybe somebody else needs a lot more time to think about it before they'll try something. I want to, I tell people all the time, don't be me, be you. Be the best you can be. And who cares what I do? So let's kind of recap everything and go over. Extreme, the word, is subjective. What I view as extreme and what you view as extreme is not the same thing. Extreme is really what challenges you and stretches you and connects you to your partner, to what you're doing. Period. End of story. That's what extreme should be. It should not be, oh, because what I did is going to cause more pain or more blood. As extreme as you think some of the shit that I do, I saw a video of somebody who literally, Dara, hold your ears because I don't know that you're going to want to hear this, literally put a board under their breasts and hammered nails through their nipples into the board.
I wish I had actually plugged my ears.
I warned you, I cannot be held responsible when I give you a trigger warning.
Oh my God. I pictured that. Oh, in the words of one of my ex-husbands, you cannot gouge out your mind's eye.
Oh. I have sat next to and watched people do needle play on scalps. We talked about, right, how you said hook suspension. I have seen quote unquote simple hook suspension where it's just hooks in the back and they lift you up. I've also seen a hook suspension where the hooks were in her knees and she was lifted off the floor by the hooks in her knees. Tara just took her headphones off. She's like, I can't hear
I'm done
you.
listening to you.
I can't hear
Headphones
you.
are off. So you just give me the signal when I can put my damn headphones back on.
I can't hear you.
Holy shit. You know what really sucks about this? I have to edit this shit, so I'm going to have to listen to it anyway. Twice.
I thought you were a mental masochist. I'm just giving you fodder. Well, you'll hear this when you...
I love how you're still talking and I have no idea what you're saying.
Nope, that's okay. So if you can't read lips, so if I went, fuck you, you don't know what I'm saying? Excellent. You will when you hear this.
For legal clarity and podcasting integrity, we must state unequivocally that Dara did not eliminate Rara in a fit of justified rage after hearing the unspeakable atrocities uttered while her headphones were off. That being said, let's just say the possibility remains an active consideration. Rara is advised to tread lightly.
So extreme is entirely subjective. Kink hierarchies...
Should I put them back on?
I think I'm done, but I can't promise. Can't wait to go back and listen to what I said to you when you couldn't hear me. I'm in such trouble, everybody. I think it was nice knowing you. She's going to kill me.
I think that there may be some sort of editorial comment added to this episode right about then. And now that I'm talking about it, it will have already happened. I don't know.
Timey-wimey again.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of swearing, I think.
Hierarchies are dangerous, and we really should be working hard to get away from that. You don't have to prove your kink to anybody, to me, to Dara, not even to your partner. You get to play your way, find your particular edge, forget any rankings, forget what anybody else thinks is extreme. And honestly, if you can just be true to yourself, then your kink is going to be the best, awesomest kink in the world. And I want that for you.
And I want to go back and listen to what Rara said. So this is going to be an interesting evening.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to help us keep creating, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can also support our affiliates to benefit small businesses and us at the same time.
No extra cash? No problem. You can still help by spreading the word about your favorite kinky podcast. Share us with your friends, and don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Those 5-star reviews mean the world to us. And those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pink
and level up your kink knowledge.